Hey guys, it's Region 4 Outreach and Communications Coordinator Matt Cameron, and today on Drop the Tailgate we're going to talk muzzleloading 101, and I am in Union County, just off the edge of Anderson County, with Wildlife Officer Jason Lankford. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And you and I hired in as wildlife officers together back
about 17 years ago, 03.
Hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. 17 years we've known each other. It's a cool thing.
And as long as I've known Jason, he's really been into muzzleloading, so he's going to talk muzzleloading. And if you're the muzzleloader guru and that's your thing, we may not teach you a whole lot today, but if you're the guy or the gal that's going to go out and maybe pick up a muzzleloader for the first time this year and try to get into the Tennessee deer woods, we're going to help you get that thing ready so you can go out and be successful and hopefully get you a deer this year. But let's talk first, before we get into muzzleloading real heavy, let's talk about the timing of the muzzleloading season in Tennessee.
There you go. I'll tell you what, for the vast majority of Tennessee, Matt, we've got pre-rut, rutting, post-rut, all in the same thing in this muzzleloader season. And there's not a better time to hunt.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, Tennessee's season for 2020 is November 7th through the 20th. So there's about a 2-week period there, and it's probably the 2 best weeks of the year to be in the woods.
Yep. And
I don't think that's by any accident that that's how our season's set up. So long story short, if you want to get out and get a deer, and specifically a buck this year, and maybe even a good buck, get you a muzzleloader and get ready to go hunt. And then followed by the muzzleloader season is the gun season, which opens the 21st, I believe. So it's a perfect time to be a Tennessee deer hunter, and we just want to get you ready. Now, Jason and I were talking earlier, and he talked about muzzleloading is a little bit intimidating for the first timer, and that made a lot of sense to me. So help us out.
It's one of those things. It's like fly fishing or golf. If you're on the outside looking in, you hear all these terms and things. You're dealing with loose powders. You're dealing with primers. But it's nothing more than the same components that's in a rifle cartridge. You know, you've got a primer, you've got powder, you've got a projectile. And it's never been a better time to be a muzzleloader hunter. They're easier to clean up, they're more accurate, they're more reliable. We've all heard about the guy, and I've been the guy, where your gun, the old cap locks, and I've got some over here, and they'll pop and don't go boom. And or they pop and they go boom a second later.
Hang fire.
They hang fire. Yep. Yes. And so there's a little bit of a learning curve to the muzzleloading, but that curve is shortened up every year.
All right, Jason, you ready to go?
Let's go shoot these things.
Stoke them up, see what we can do.
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, we're gearing this segment more towards folks that may be picking up a muzzleloader for the first time, really don't even know where to start, or the different types that are out there. So Jason's going to show us probably the most common type that you're going to see if you go to a sporting goods store and pick one up off the shelf. This is probably what you're going to look at.
Matt, this right here, this is not your granddaddy's muzzleloader. Man, this is not even a muzzleloader of 30 years ago. This right here, these muzzleloaders, they have a brake action nowadays. They're inline ignition. And they use, the vast majority of them use a shotgun primer that you can buy. You buy them by the hundreds.
Okay.
But shotgun primer, and with a removable breech plug. It can screw right out, screw right in. It's watertight. This is available in a lot of different options. A lot of different manufacturers make this. The 209 primers, which are shotgun primers, they throw a tremendous amount of flame, and
which is very important because the number 11s that I used to shoot, just a small little cap, and a lot of times that gun wouldn't go off. I'd say it was probably batting 75%, but you want 100%.
You want 100%,
especially when a nice deer comes out on it.
So this is the old cap lock, like probably you and I started off hunting with. This is the number 11 percussion cap. That's what these use. Some of them are converted to shoot a musket cap. This is a number 11 percussion cap. These are the 209, two different varieties of the shotgun primers. And one thing I talked about in muzzleloading is getting fire to the powder. You've got to get fire to the powder, and you may be out when it's raining, high humidity. Sometimes you need more fire. These number 11s, they worked for hundreds of years or so, and they still work. But like you were saying earlier, they're not 100%. These are as close to 100% as you can get, the 209 primers. Well, there's a couple of the newer powders that are out. There's a Blackhorn powder. One thing to note about Blackhorn powder is it shoots better with a true 209 shotgun primer. such as, and there's more than this, but such as the Winchester primers, 4-shot shells.
Okay.
Now, there's another powder that's been out for a few years now as well. It's called the 777. It shoots better with, amazingly, 777 style. This is a little bit less. This is a little bit less fire. This Blackhorn right here takes a lot more fire to ignite than the 777.
Okay. I didn't
And
realize there was a difference in even 209.
there is, right. Just a more accurate, from what I understand, a more accurate setup to use the hotter primer with the Blackhorn, and then the ones that are designated as muzzleloader primers are great for the 777 and even the old standby, the Pyrodex,
Okay.
or the rifle and the pistol powder.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we got 4 different powder options, and these have all replaced the black powder.
The black powder,
Is that correct?
yes. They technically say that they are. This is old Go X. This is what before Pyrodex, and I think Pyrodex came out around the 70s. Before that, this is all they had, and they've all got their pros and cons. Not a lot wrong with black powder. It's a little dirtier. It's a little smellier, but it doesn't take as much fire to go off. We were talking about hang fires and stuff.
Yep.
If you're using that number 11 right there, and you can get yourself hands on some black powder, the hang fires kind of go down. These 3 in the middle right here, they are full 50 caliber apiece. These are all modern projectiles. There's modern bullets. They're all hollow points. This one has a little bit of a polymer tip on it, but they all have a gas check to let them seal in the barrel as well as it can. These right here, the green right here designates that this is a 44 caliber bullet in a 50 caliber sabot or sabot. So that's 240 grains on a 44. This right here is 300 grains on a 45. This is a 45 caliber bullet, and this is the same diameter as all the rest. These are all examples of 50 caliber projectiles. Let's load this gun up and shoot a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, man.
All right, excellent. First thing we do is check to make sure that our gun is truly unloaded. That's a big thing that a lot of people don't do. We usually mark the ramrod to tell how deep it seats. Well, on this gun right here, if it's not loaded, the ramrod goes out of sight. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop a cap, and when you pop a cap, that clears the channel from your primer through the hole in the breech plug, and you should see some fire residue on the back of a cleaning cloth right here. This is just a cut up t-shirt. And so all this is just to push in, and all right, this is our 209. Put the primer in there. Always treating every gun as if it were loaded, even though we've double checked this one and know that it's not. I'm going to point it in a safe direction. Listen how But as you can see, all the soot right there, that would have been going to the powder. Well, I'm shooting the Blackhorn 209, and most muzzleloading charges are by volume, and we'll talk about that with a calibrated measure. They are by volume. And on this right here, I would normally be shooting about 90 grains. If I were shooting the 777 or the Go X or the Pyrodex, I would be shooting about 90 grains. Well, this Blackhorn is 30% hotter or stronger than the others. So what I have done is I have backed it up. I normally shoot about 90 grains. This is actually 63 grains by weight, and I've used a scale and measured this. So with the muzzle pointed away from us, we pour our powder in. With the muzzle pointed away from us, we take our projectile. In this case, it's a sabot. This is a Harvester sabot crushed rib with a 300 grain 45 caliber hollow point bullet. And what I like about these sabots, these crushed ribs, they go down the barrel very easily. But we still always start with a the starter. Just push it down. We come to our ramrod. I pulled my ramrod out. Push this down. I see people starting off and they want to grab the ramrod way up here. And especially the old wooden ones and the plastic ones, you'll bend those ramrods. This is a metal one, it'll bend as well. But what you want to do, especially when you start, is just to gain an inch or two at a time. Now this little deal has a little bit of a hole in it, and I can use that for my ramrod. This is just an old school style, but I like that. Now, if some of you have seen people and they'll take and they'll bang and bang and bang and they'll bounce them and they'll bounce them. All it needs to be is snug, but it's really important to be snug on the powder. Have the projectile snug on the powder. Once you got to that point, we can break this open, and right here is where the 209 primer goes. We can load the 209 primer in that hole right there. Make sure it's pushed up. Make sure the hammer's up where it needs to be. This gun's ready to fire. All right, we're going to be shooting these guns at this gun at 50 yards. Got 63 grains of black horn powder, a 300 grain 45 caliber bullet with a harvester sabot. So we're going to shoot this thing and see where she hits. What we're wanting it to do is we're wanting it to hit just slightly high at 50 yards. That shows that it's crossed of the line of sight, and that'll bring it right back in at 100 yards. Looks like we're a little low and a little to the right. Yeah, we're exactly an inch to the right and an inch low. So, that's not far off. At 50 yards, that's not bad. So with that shot at 100 yards, shows about right here. Need to make 4 more clicks to the right. And the way I really want it, I want it about dead on at 100 yards. So I'm going to do 4 more clicks to the right, 4 more clicks down. Now we're an inch and a half, what I consider an inch and a half low. So I'm going to bring it up about 6 clicks. And we'll be done with it. I believe our little move up is looking pretty good.
That's what you want to see.
So there's our 100-yard shot. We'll be ready to go hunt with that.
So here we are, just a couple weeks away from muzzleloader season, so it's a good time to go ahead and pick you one up and do all this ahead of time. Because as you've seen, there is a little bit of groundwork you've got to lay before you go to the woods. So and these days, we're still in this pandemic and all, and online shopping is huge, and I'm an online shopper myself. So one of the biggest benefits of them is that you don't have to go to a store to get one. Is that correct?
You can order a muzzleloader through the mail. They can ship a muzzleloader through the mail, and all the components through the mail. You can have the primers, and although there is a slight hazmat fee for the primers and the powder, but you can order it all. You don't have to leave your house, and you can totally social distance and not have to come in contact with anybody else. Get out in these woods at the best time of the deer season, the best time of the year, and enjoy yourself.
Well, there you go, guys. I've learned a lot today. Jason taught me a lot I didn't know about muzzleloading. I've been doing it for, I don't know, I'm 41 years old. I've been doing it for probably at least 30 years, and you learn something new all the time. And so I hope Jason's taught you something today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Drop the Tailgate. Join us next time for some more fun in the Tennessee Great Outdoors.